What's going on, everyone? Hawks21 here, back with another Splinterlands video. So this video is going to be a little different than my normal gameplay analysis videos, because you'll notice none of these battles are actually mine. So we were talking about Immortalis in my Discord a ton, and that prompted people to send some of their battles. And it got me thinking, because I was sent battles from, you can see this one here is a Gold League battle. I was sent Silver League, Champion, Diamond, Bronze, all across the spectrum, using strategies I never have to think about, I never have to go up against, because I only play in Diamond and Champion. And these battles, they're going to be helpful to a wider variety of people than I can provide content for. Right, like people who watch me play in silver, play in gold, play in all different types of leagues, and I can really only make specific diamond and champion content due to my deck. So I really liked getting these influx of battles across all different leagues for me to, then use and design a video around. Now, I don't want to just take people play battles and send me them, and then, I post a video and I get, subscribers and views and whatever it is. So I want to set up a little bit of an informal revenue sharing idea. Again, very informal for now. I'm going to test it out over the next couple weeks, months, depending on how big the interest is and how many people take advantage of what I'm about to offer. But I'll just show you sort of what happened. So here we're at my Discord, the Hawk's Nest. As you can see right here, this is the logo. My link to join is in the description. And if you come here to the Battles tab, you can see a bunch of people posted Immortalis videos. So we had Proton, who's a member. My members are in green. Posted his first win with Immortalis. Then we had Max Payne post a bunch of Immortalis videos, as you can see. And then another person was NC Charlie, another member, posted a bunch of Immortalis videos with sort of descriptions of what he was thinking when he was playing the lineups. So if you think you have a strategy, or you have, it could even be a card that I've covered before, but just a really great silver strategy with that card that I don't know about, or if you have a counter to a, really overpowered silver strategy, and you don't have a channel, you don't have a way to get it out, you have no interest in making that. If you come in here to battles and you post, I prefer with some description, like NC Charlie does here, post in here, and I decide to make a video around it, I will give you DEC for that. What I think I'm going to do right now is 100 DEC per battle that I use in a video. So in this one that we get into after my little pre-thing here is over, I do 5 battles across, 1 from Proton, 2 from Max Payne, and 2 from NC Charlie. One thing I am going to do is, if you are my member, which if you want to join, you can find all the details here at the Join Bird Gang tab. It's going to get multiplied by 2. So it's going to be 100 DEC for non-members per battle that I include. And that's going to end up being 200 DEC per members. And again, I just want to do this to give back to my community, because, you providing me content to put into a video that helps me provide more content to a wider audience of viewers is a value to me, and I want to pass that sort of down to you. So right now, I'm just going to start with $100 per battle. $100, Jesus. 100 DEC per battle for non-members, 200 for members. I'm going to test that out for a while. I might put something formal together at some point. Maybe it's actually based on the revenue that the video generates. But for now, I don't want to put that into place. I'm just going to do this simple one. So if you're interested, come join my Discord, check out the battles, check out the membership tab. All right, let's get into the videos. So this first battle comes from NC Charlie 1. And as you can see, broken arrows. So what does that tell you? That tells you we're expecting magic. In this battle in particular, two things I want to highlight. Three things, sorry. One, you're going to notice a few times in these battles that the Void makes, and we talked about this in the Immortalis video, Void makes tanks without magic defense better, right? It's not that complicated. The Pellicore Mercenary is a great card against melee and range attacks, has the flying, decently fast, has heal, so it's a little bit, has some resilience, but it just gets melted by magic. Magic can't miss, magic avoids his one armor. Toss the Void, and now it becomes a much more resilient monster. Now, you're not going to see it at play here because they brought the Slip Spawn, which is the second thing I want to notice. So in this one, right, you're expecting some more magic than you normally get because of the range. And you're also expecting melee. So you're expecting potentially some big melee attacks. And that's what you get here with the Deep Lurker and the Sandworm. You know, particularly at lower levels, Sandworm is a very, very common card from what I understand. So if you can bring out a card with Force Field, plus give it Void, this Slip Spawn is an amazing card to play in Broken Arrows rule sets. And the last thing, and this is going to be a staple across a lot of these battles, the Goblin Psychic, combining the Void with the Silence. So as you can see here, Jin O'Shaughnessy is going to get silenced down to 1 magic. Because of the Void that's added to the Slip Spawn, Jin O'Shaughnessy can't do any damage. Here, the Nurse of Tridon is doing 4 magic, down to 3 with the Void. That gets all the way down to 2. So you have this cool thing working here where the magic monsters can't do a lot of damage because of the Void and the Silence. And then the melee monsters can't do a lot of damage because of the Force Field. So these guys are only going to hit for 1. Alright, so let's just watch this battle play out. You know, so there's still hit for 1, 2, hit for 1. You know, it takes a little bit to get through the Bakjira, obviously. Would have been better if they landed the Affliction. But the recharge here, you also see that in action because you're going to be able to do more damage to the Bakjira, which you will see in a second. So it hits them for 5. Boom. So the recharge here is huge. But again, the Jin O'Shaughnessy is basically useless this entire battle. Can't do any damage. And the Slip Spawn back here, they just can't generate enough of an attack to get rid of it. They eventually will, but it just takes all the way through almost the end of round 3. And at that point, they've been through a couple of their, most meaningful cards up front. They got through the Bakjira, they got through the Jin O'Shaughnessy, which can be difficult to deal with. Its offense was limited, but its its evasiveness was not. Now they just have too much damage left. And again, one of their main damage dealers, Nurse of Tridon, can only hit for 2 because of the combination of the Void and the Silence. I think they'll finally get rid of the Pellicore Mercenary here once the poison hits, but it's just far... Oh no, they won't even do that because of the double heal. So yeah, they only eliminated the Slip Spawn, and they could not get through anyone else. Also, let's not forget about the recharge monster down there, who did a ton of damage. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. Here is another from NC Charlie. This one also, or the last one was in gold. This one's at Diamond or Champion. Same thing, broken arrows. Similar concept here, where you're expecting a ton of magic. Right, and here we get more traditionally what you would expect, right? You didn't get those big melee monsters. Especially when you look here, you only have the option of green and life, so earth and life. You're expecting an obsidian team here, most likely. I assume that's what Charlie was expecting. That's what I would expect here. So perfect time to play Immortalis. We didn't get obsidian, but we still got a magic team, which is a little confusing. So again, a couple things at play here. The Void is going to make all of these monsters more resilient. Both of these here, the Bramble Pixie and the Mercenary, have heals. So giving them Void to eliminate some of that trouble they can have with magic makes them that much more viable. Combine that with the silence. So again, you're going to be in a situation here where this gets silenced down to 2, only hits for 1. This isn't going to hit for anything. This is going to hit for nothing. This is going to hit for 1. So all these magics, this hits for 1, this hits for 1. These two can't do any damage. So you basically just completely decimated what they can do for backline damage. And all you have to do is once you get through the Grum, there's just not that much damage out there for you to have to deal with. Let's play it. Just hits for 1. Does get the miss. That's what I'm talking about here with the Mercenary, right? You can play the Mercenary now in rule sets where you're expecting magic, and it can still give that sort of upfront tank that you're probably going to deal with some fits. Because it has the flying, it can be dodged. It also has Retaliate, which right here you'll see at this point. So the Grum actually does a good job hitting it, but it did get 1 Retaliate in. And the flying can sort of come into play. So their backline just can't do that much damage. And now when they get rid of the Affliction, right, so the opponent lost the Affliction, the heals are going to come into play. Actually does get rid of the Bramble Pixie. The Grum does work here. So as you can see, it looks a little troubling. But those 2 attacks right here, you had Jin Bilka and Queen Mycelia on Queen Mycelia, and they couldn't eliminate Queen Mycelia. They could not do enough damage in that turn. Again, there's just not a lot of damage out here. It looked shaky, but they can just heal right through it. It's 1 damage, 0 damage, heal. 1 damage. 1 damage, heal for 2. So now there's nothing the opponent can do. They can heal more than they can do damage, all because of the Void. Heals for 2 every time, can only hit for 2 because of the Silence Void combination. So Goblin Psychic is insane. Alright, let's go to the next one. We have 3 left. So this one from Proton here, as you can see, one of the heavy matchups we'd expect in a keep your distance rule set. Specifically, back to basics or keep your distance, right? Either or. You're expecting a bunch of magic in either of these rule sets. Combine them and you're definitely expecting magic. So bringing the Void here, as you can see, overpowers bringing the extra magic. A couple other things at play, obviously, are that they brought some monsters with a decent amount of health, right? They have a more leveled up Regal Parrington, which gives some extra health, but I don't even think it gets down to that point. The main thing here is there's a lot of magic damage here, but having that Void is more meaningful than the additional magic damage. Not to mention the -1 health also helps in a rule set like this, where it's basically a math problem. Can you get enough damage at the right times to eliminate their monsters before they do the same thing to you? Let's get into it. Again, this one's not too complicated. Void is just better in this type of rule set than boosting magic. And again, the -1 health certainly helps. It's going to be a great counter in back to basics rule sets. So easy win there. That one was from Proton. I'm going to keep some of these up so I can send some DEC at the end. So the last 2 are from Max Payne. And here we actually have a silver battle. And this is one of the ones that got me thinking about setting up a program like this for the referrals. Because this is Silver Wild. I cannot create content for Silver Wild. I don't have wild cards. I don't play in Silver. And this was like a really cool, interesting battle to show. So, here's that situation again with the tank. Venari Knifer, with really good speed, good attack, is a fantastic tank against, and Thorns, is a fantastic tank against melee monsters and ranged monsters. The speed is good. It's difficult to hit. And specifically here with Protect, right, it's going to become extra difficult against ranged and melee monsters. The problem is, normally, you can rip right through it with magic damage. And here, they're actually bringing a boost to magic damage with the Magi, with the Obsidian, with the Magi of Chaos, and then the Wood Nymph. But you toss a Void on the Knifer, and all of a sudden it's resilient to both melee and range, as well as magic. And there's another cool thing that happens here, where that includes the Halfling Alchemist. So not only is the Void going to count the magic damage in half, but you're going to see once the Magi of Chaos and the Wood Nymph get up front, you get rid of the extra magic boost with the halving, and then they can't even really do any damage. It's pretty fun to watch. But the main takeaway here for me is, this is a low mid-mana game where you expect some of these Obsidian teams where magic can generally just rip through some of the opponents. Sorry. Don't want those alerts going off. So, where magic can just rip through your opponents, you add Void to a traditionally melee-focused tank, and it can lead you to some wins. So let's play this one. There'll be one more after this. Again, only hits for 2, 3, so it's doing some damage, but just not quite enough. Now watch what the Halfling Alchemist does. So it got the miss on the range, but now Magi of Chaos can only do 1 damage. It doesn't actually get the attack off. And then here's kind of funny. So now, right here, the Wood Nymph can't do any damage. Ultimately, it ended up not really mattering, but you could have some funny battles where your opponent, kind of like we saw at the end of the last one, your opponent can't do a ton of damage once you've, sort of get to the end, specifically if you're silencing some of their magic. Okay, last one. That main one was just kind of showing the Knifer with the Void. Here's a cool one that incorporates the Shatter as well. So let's just take a look at this. We have a Divine Shield rule set, which can be really, really frustrating, right? And then you look here, this is Silver Wild. You look here at this, and you see the Stone Golem against Grund, and you think, oh boy, Grund's only going to hit for 2 every single time. So you add the additional shield from the Queen Mycelia, so that's 5 shield. It's going to take 3 hits from the Grund, so a turn and a half, just to get through the shield normally. You then add in the Divine Shield, and now you're talking 4, so a full 2 turns just to get through the Stone Golem. Typically, what that's going to lead to is Grun's kind of squishy. It's not fast. It has a decent amount of health, but it doesn't have shield. It doesn't really have any evasive anything or defensive stats. What that's typically going to lead to is your Grund is going to spend this whole time trying to get rid of the Stone Golem. It's not going to be able to sort of, string some attacks together. It doesn't have trample at this level. And the team's going to wipe it out. Now, I would say, witches, if you're watching, if you're a real person and not a bot, I tend to not want to bring opportunity strikes to Divine Shield games. And the reason for that is because you really want to focus your attack all on one spot because of the Divine Shield. Let's just walk through here what this opportunity is going to do. Opportunity is going to hit Fungus Fiend, take away the Divine Shield, Scout follows it up, eliminates the Fungus Fiend. That's turn 1. Takes 2 attacks just to get rid of the Fiend. Turn 2, Vulture hits here, gets rid of the Divine Shield. Scout hits here, does 2 damage. Can't even eliminate it, right? It's going to take the whole next turn. Screeching Vulture hits here, finally eliminates it. Now, you're either dealing with having to hit the Hill Giant, which has Divine Shield, or hopefully at this point, Grund is lower than 8. And then you can start working on that. It just takes too long to focus on the main damage dealers of your opponent in a situation like this, specifically with Divine Shield, to bring opportunity monsters. It'd be much better if you were focus firing the Grund. Because instead, what you're doing is the 2 melee attack, the 2 range attack, not bad. Queen Mycelia is basically made useless offensively with Immortalis. It can't do any damage unless you're boosting the magic. Now, back to what we were talking about here with the Grund. What you're going to see is that first hit, right, which would normally do 0 damage, is going to take away 1, the Divine Shield, and then 2, all of its 5 armor. And that's what's going to make the difference in this one. It's going to cut out 4 full hits from the Grund that it would need to do to get rid of the shield. Only takes 1, all because of this Shatter. So it really unlocks the Grund here. Gives it a defensive ability, and the Shatter is huge. So what you'll see, bang, Shatter. Also, I don't want to underrate here, right? Acid Shooter hits Venari Scout for the Divine Shield. Doesn't do any damage, but the Shatter eliminates the armor. So it basically avoided the Divine Shield almost. You see, we're almost done with the Stone Golem. I'm actually going to go back because that was kind of important. One more. So, watch what happens here. Watch the Grund Stone Golem. Because I didn't even talk about this part. So it's going to hit. The Divine Shield gone. The Shatter is going to trigger. Then the second hit is going to go straight to the health. So not only is 1 hit eliminating all of it, that follow-up hit is going to get it down to 4 health. Bang. This was a really cool battle. I was really excited to show this one. So they're doing their damage to the Grund, but the 2 opportunity monsters are distracted. Kind of like what I said. And bang. Doesn't have the trample, unfortunately. But they just can't do enough damage to the Grund because it's too split. And the Grund just does absolute work. They will eventually get rid of it, I believe. I believe on this turn. But again, yep, look at that. So hit number 1 gets rid of the Divine Shield. The Shatter gets rid of the shield. Follow-up hit eliminates the monster. Giving Grund Shatter is great specifically for this type of rule set. Now you can see they just don't have enough damage out there. Queen Mycelia can do 0 damage. And boom. Game over. Okay, so those are some cool battles I saw with Immortalis that some of my community members posted. Time to give out some DEC. So we have Max Payne 00, who is not a member, and I used 2 videos of Max's. So that's going to be 200 DEC to Max. Confirm that. Then we have Proton, who is a member. I used 1 of his. Oop, went back to Discord. So that's sent. I'll confirm it's sent after. Proton, I used 1 video, so that's another 200 to Proton. Or 1 battle, I should say. And then finally, we have NC Charlie 1, which I used 2 videos. Or 2 battles, I keep saying videos. And he is a member. So that is going to be 400 DEC. So thank you guys very much for providing me with those battles. It was content I couldn't deliver right now because I haven't maxed up Immortalis. I'm going to wait to max out Immortalis. It's obviously timely to talk about Immortalis right now, so I really appreciate it. And it's also across a ton of leagues, right? I can't provide silver content. I can't really provide consistent gold content. So, having you guys provide me of that is a big value to me, and I want to return some of that to you. And so if you're looking for another way to make DEC and you play the game a ton, here's an avenue. Come show me strategies that I could then turn into videos. All right, I'm going to stop it there. What do you guys think of Immortalis? Have you liked using him thus far? Any hot takes? You think it's a really, really good summoner? Is it underrated, overrated? Let me know. If you're new to the YouTube community, it would be awesome if you could take a second to subscribe to the channel. That's it for me today. I will stop here. Have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.